Hi everybody, my name is Sungmin and I am a fourth year Bachelor of Commerce student at Mount Allison University. Mount Allison is located in a very small town called Sackville, New Brunswick. And I'm from a city called Moncton, which is about 30 minutes away from Sackville. So for me, Sackville and Mount Allison was just close enough to stay in contact with my family, but far enough so that I can have my own independence while I'm here. Now, in terms of academics, I've always been interested in business, that I loved economics, commerce, and I knew that Mount Allison had a really great reputation in terms of the commerce program. And I knew that a lot of alumni across Canada was also from Mount Allison, who were in great positions with great companies. But also Mount Allison itself is one of the best undergrad universities in Canada, and so just the great name and the great reputation that I've heard about Mount Allison really made me want to come here. In terms of business, the professors are very hands-on, so they recognize the value in really learning about what you'll be experiencing in real life. So they always try to bring in as many guest speakers and seminars into the classroom as possible. Now, almost all courses that you're gonna take in business anyway, you're gonna have final exams. Some of them might be in different formats too, like there might be take-home exams or final projects, presentations. Group work is a very common one, and so because of this, organization is very important, especially in the first 1 or 2 years of university. It's very easy to become overwhelmed by the amount of workload that you'll be experiencing, because it is drastically different from high school, but it's nothing you can't handle. My greatest tip to you is to study consistently. You don't have to study a lot every night, just a tiny little bit every day, so that you don't fall behind. And even if you do, it's very easy to catch back up. A lot of people would cram like 5 chapters in one night right before a midterm, and that is not a great way to retain information, and those people don't generally do very well. The Bachelor of Commerce program is organized in a way that you select one stream that you follow for the rest of your degree, and everybody in Bachelor of Commerce gets exposed to all of the streams in your first semester or your second semester of your second year. And so the streams that we have at Mount Allison are accounting, finance, management, and marketing. And you are required to take the introductory courses for all 4 of these during some time in your Mount A degree. And then after you decide what you want to do, you choose that focus, the stream, let's say for accounting focus, and that becomes your major. And then you also select a minor or double minor if you really wanted to. And minors can be anything. It can be religious studies, physics, biology, women and gender studies, whatever you want. Professors and the courses recognize that not everything is very straightforward in this world. There are a lot of real life case studies that we look into that are interesting in a way that you might not think of before. And so if you really like problem solving and if you like having discussions with other people about problem solving, then you'll have a lot of fun in commerce. What I would recommend before even you apply is that you obviously study as hard as you can in high school. And the better grade you have, the more likely you'll be accepted into not only Mount Allison, but any other schools. Now, having said that, academics isn't everything. And so my next advice would be to become involved as much as possible. Sports, student council, and any kind of clubs and societies that your high school might have. Because, when it comes down to it, grades are not everything, and a lot of schools, including Mount A, will look at who you are as a person and not just who you are as a student. And so I think becoming involved and getting yourself out there is extremely important, and just as important, if not more important, than getting your grades up. Mount Allison has an acceptance rate of almost 90%, so not everybody gets in, but almost everybody does. And one of the greatest things about Mount A too is that whoever is accepted, they almost always get a financial support as well, so in terms of scholarships or bursaries. If you're thinking of coming into Bachelor of Commerce program at Mount A, I would recommend that you become exposed as much as you can to the world of business. But not every high school has business courses, but in the case of mine, I didn't have any business courses in my high school, but I did have economics course. And once you're accepted into Mount A, after the application process, you should register for courses as soon as possible. So yeah, the registrar's office will send you an email sometime in April or March telling you when the registration start dates are and when you're eligible to start registering for courses. And you should do it as soon as possible, just because, you know, it's better to drop out or change out of a course later than be waitlisted and you have to wait until somebody else drops out. But even if you're still waitlisted at the start of classes, if you talk to the professor about it, they won't have any problem letting you register for it, even if it's 1 or 2 people over capacity. All the professors at Mount A are really lenient about that kind of stuff, and so is the registrar's office, as a matter of fact. So Mount Allison has a really great internship program. So for example, I have a current internship with TD that I'm doing for the summer. And ideally, when these companies hire these students, they expect them to come work for them after graduation. So I think when TD hired me for this summer, they expected me to kind of keep this relationship that I have with them and come work for them once I graduate. TD is one of just many big, large firms that hire out of Mount A. The other one is like KPMG. There are different holdings companies around Atlantic Canada, accounting firms, law firms. There are a lot of different opportunities. And so the internships are really great way to just kind of get your foot in the door, and Mount Allison does a great job of endorsing and promoting these to the students. And like I said before, Sackville is only 30 minutes away from one of the biggest cities in New Brunswick, called Moncton. And in Moncton there are, many large international firms, offices, and they do hire out of Mount A a lot. Now, of course, you don't have to, work for a company right away after you graduate. Graduate schools are really popular. MBAs, if you're a Bachelor of Commerce student, that's a really popular choice. Just 2.5 hours away, we have Halifax here. And in Halifax, the Dalhousie MBA program is pretty popular with the Mount A grads. And also, there are other students who go to masters in economics or law degree. The possibilities are really just endless. And the experiential learning office at Mount Allison does a really great job of kind of acting as a liaison between the grad schools and Mount Allison students. And the last option I'd say is just pursuing a certification on your own. So like I said before, a CPA is a really popular accounting certification that a lot of Mount A grads go for. And another certification that's popular is the CFA. So that's the Chartered Financial Analyst certification. At Mount Allison, we have 8 residences total. And I lived in a residence called Campbell my first 2 years of my stay here at Mount Allison, and that was one of the best decisions I've ever made, I think. Campbell was the largest residence in Mount A. A little over 200 people lived in the building, and all my friends right now, all my best friends, all my friends that I talk to every day are people I met in Campbell. And I had a roommate in Campbell in my first year, and he is still one of my best friends, and my roommate currently that I'm living with right now in my apartment in downtown Sackville was my suite mate in Campbell, so with the person that I shared the bathroom with. Campbell isn't the only residence on Mount Allison, and there are many other residences that are just as great and just as fun. But I definitely recommend to you that regardless of which school you go to, you live in residence for at least your first year, because no better ways to make friends and to be settled into a community than to really live, eat, and sleep with the people around you. Mount A is a very small university. The student base is about 2,200 students, and the population of Sackville isn't that big either. So Sackville has a population about 5,500, and so about half of Sackville is Mount A students. Because of this small campus, you really have a tight-knit community and a sense of camaraderie between the students. Like when you're walking to classes, you'll see at least 3 or 4 faces that you recognize. And so you're always saying hi to somebody, you're always chatting with somebody at the side of the road. You go to a party and you practically know everybody, and people you don't know, somebody else that you know definitely knows them. So everybody is friends with everybody here, and that's one of the greatest things I love about Mount A, is just how close I become to these people. There are lots of clubs and societies around campus, and the possibilities are really endless in the sense that you can just start your own clubs and societies just as easily as joining one. So I started the Parks Canada Club here at Mount Allison with my friends in my first year, and we've been having a lot of fun with that ever since. But there are over 100 different clubs and societies that you can join. And so my advice to incoming students in terms of making new friends and settling in is to remember that everyone else is just as nervous as you when you're coming to university. I certainly was like this too. And when I first came here, I was very insecure and very unsure if I was doing the right things and saying the right things. And you know, the truth is everybody else is thinking the exact same thing. So you really don't have to be as nervous as you would be. Just be yourself, be honest, be open, and you know, smile a lot. That's a big thing. And yeah, and you'll have a great time settling in into Mount A and Sackville community. It's very diverse. There are a lot of international students that come from all over the world to Mount A, and we have a great exchange program with a certain Japanese university that they send the Japanese students over every year. And you know, we have exchange program partnerships with at least 20 to 30 universities around the world, in Europe, in South America, and in Asia. And you can tell that Sackville itself is very, very diverse too. There are all sorts of people that come to Sackville to not only work in Mount A, but to work in other parts of New Brunswick as well. You know, I guess technically myself as an international student too. I'm a Canadian citizen, but I was born in South Korea. So we have a lot of really nice ethnic minority groups and communities around Sackville that everybody can find and fall into. And the International Center at Mount Allison is really great at providing support and social, you know, support kind of for international students who come to Canada and Mount Allison. One I've already mentioned is the International Center. They act as a liaison for all kinds of international exchange and partnerships. We also have the Wellness Center, and the Wellness Center is located in the Student Center in the ground floor. They have walk-in counseling services, they have psychiatrists and doctors on calls. And so if you just need somebody to talk to, or if you need to make a doctor's appointment, they will do that for you. We have the Meehan Center on the 3rd floor of the Student Center, which is the center for all kinds of students with learning disabilities or physical disabilities. So they'll work with professors and other instructors in organizing accommodations, special accommodations if you need one. You know, longer exam times, note takers, you know, different exam environments, stuff like that. And so we have the Mount Allison Student Union, MASU as we call it, and they provide insurance for the students. We also have the Experiential Learning Center, and like I mentioned before, the center is for kind of providing support for students for grad schools as well as other job opportunities. And the Experiential Learning Center also organizes all kinds of internships throughout summers and throughout the semesters. And there are so many more other resources that I just can't think of at the top of my head right now. But you have practically everything you need right here within 10 minutes of walking distance. And that's one of the greatest things. What I would say, and what I wish I knew before I became a 4th year, is to really care about your mental health. Myself included, a lot of people in university have difficulties coping with the pressure and the amount of workload that they are exposed to. And a lot of people think that it's just the way it is and that there's nothing they can do about it. And I and a lot of people just tend to keep it to themselves, and that becomes an even more serious problem as the years go on, and eventually it all just kind of breaks down. And that's when people have you know, really tough days, and they think about dropping out, and they drop out and they change programs. So what I would recommend is that you really care about your mental health and rest when you need to rest, you know, play when you need to play. Know when to walk away from your monitor, because if you don't, nobody else will for you. My other advice is that academics isn't everything, and like I said before, you know, really get involved. That's an important thing. There are, like I said, so many different clubs and societies around Mount A campus that you can almost certainly find that you like, one that you like. And even if you don't want to join a club or a society per se, still do things with your friends, right? Go for drives, travel around the Maritimes, you go camping, right? And that's what university is all about, I think. Just being able to be with the people that you like and the people that like you, and share your thoughts, listen to their thoughts, and just grow as a person. And this kind of leads nicely into my last advice, which is just to have fun. University is obviously, you're here for an education, but you're also here to make memories, and you're here to make friends, you're here to make connections that will last for the rest of your life. And so it's really, really important that you have fun, because 4 years is a long time to endure if you're not having fun. Don't beat yourself up if you don't get good grades in your first year. Almost nobody gets the grades they expect in first year, and it's just a part of the learning experience. And even employers and grad schools understand this, and so when they see your transcript and see that you didn't do so well in your first year, they'll most likely overlook it because they know how hard it is. I can understand that becoming a university student is a huge step forward in everybody's lives, and I just want you to remember that everybody else is going through the exact same thing. It's not just you that's having difficulties. It's not just you that's nervous about this whole thing. Everybody else is nervous, and they're anxious, and they're unsure if they're making the right choice. So just be comfortable with who you are, and be comfortable with the choices that you're making, and have fun. And I hope this was somewhat helpful to you. Best of luck going forward, and have a great day.